Well, thank you guys so much for hopping on and joining us today for our live stream. We have a presentation that we're going to walk you guys through in just a minute here. I just want to thank everybody for hopping on and coming to join us today. Looking forward to sharing some of the updates with you guys on where we are with the app and what you can expect from it. For those of you who have been following Crawler for a while, it used to kind of be a two-person show, and that was Alex and myself, both trying to figure it out and, make things work. So we'll kind of do a little bit of some background on the history of Crawler and then walk you guys through with our new teammates who have come on board and are helping bring this project to life. So extremely excited about that one. So if you guys have any questions while we're going through today, please feel free, if I could speak, to leave them in the chat on live stream. And we do have a Q&A bit set up at the end where we'll go through and address the questions that have come in. So with that, I'm going to swap us over to another screen where you should be able, ideally, if it's going to work for us, to see a presentation. So everybody loves a good PowerPoint. All right. Sweet.
Just a note, for the rest of this, I'm going to be a ghost.
He is, yes. Alex is going to be the ghost of the live stream. Not as cool as the Phantom of the Opera. Ghost of the stream. We'll take it. Oh no, is it going to be... There's also a ghost, by the way, who is working within my Google Slides right now. So I apologize in advance if it moves slides on you. Was troubleshooting it and couldn't find anything except things be broken sometimes. So just so you guys are aware. Okay, so to get us started with our live stream, just going to do a quick recap of who we are. Then we're going to jump into how the app works and what to expect. And update a bit around like pricing and what subscription models you can expect from that. Our Q&A, we have a little bit of a giveaway that we are doing. And then as well as some special news. So stay tuned. We will be handing out a really cool prize at the end of this live stream. For those of you guys who are joining, we'll pick one lucky winner. We'll do it live on the stream. So excited about that. And just so you guys are aware, we are going to be saving and reposting this live stream at a later date and uploading it with subtitles. That way everybody, if you're hard of hearing, you're able to have that. So I apologize that we don't have the subtitles on right now, but we will have that when it is re-uploaded. And sorry for the ghost in the machine that took you guys forward a slide. Just a bit of a spoiler alert here. So with Crawler, this is our mission statement, just so everyone is aware, wanted to put it in writing, that our main goal as a company is we want to build intuitive and powerful tools that inspire and connect tabletop gamers. When we look at everything that we're doing, this is ultimately our guiding light as a company, and what we want to use to grow this as we move forward with, if anything new comes out of it, like this will always be like at the heart of who we are. All right, so those of you, you probably know if you hopped on our stream, but if you're new and you're like, I have no idea what Crawler is, just so you are aware, we are a mobile application that's in development that is allowing users to create a player profile, find tabletop games to join, and post their own adventures for others to consider. So it really is about helping enable, goodness gracious, everybody who is wanting to get into the tabletop role-playing space to be able to find those games and start playing more games, because ultimately that is what we all want to do. So we'll do a quick round robin of some team introductions here. I've been talking a lot, but my name is Jackie Zanto Schwartz. I am CEO and founder of Crawler. This is kind of my baby that started back in 2019, and I will pass the baton to Marissa.
Hi, I'm Marissa Bernard, and I'm the CTO. And I will pass on to Alex.
Our ghost.
Alex Nichols, the ghost of the stream. As Jackie said, much less interesting than Phantom of the Opera, but I do what I can. I'm the community manager, and I've been here a little while, but I've not contributed in the same way that Marissa and Ben and Josh have. These people are amazing. Crawler wouldn't be the way it is now without their help.
I have to say, it wouldn't be without you either, just to throw you a bone, like, for sure. Alex was there for me when I was, like, going through it and not sure if this would come to life. So thank you, Alex, for your endless enthusiasm. It is very appreciated.
Hi, I'm Ben. I have recently joined the team as the UI and UX designer. I just try to build things that work and also look beautiful.
I'm Josh. I'm the backend developer. I joined sometime last December.
And unable to join us, but their photos are on screen, you have John, who is our graphics developer, our graphic designer. Wow, developer was stuck in my head. And next to him is David. David is our business mentor. Um, and while they aren't able to join us today for our live stream, we very much appreciate their contributions to the team. And kudos, we've gotten a lot of really positive feedback on our logo. And John, bottom row, third over one on the right, that was like his brainchild. So like endless kudos to John for the awesome work on giving us a logo that's really ownable. All right. So with that, I touched on this a little bit earlier, but really our purpose today is to go through how we envision the mobile app functioning, as well as keeping you guys really just up to date on the current app development stage, and maybe, not so much maybe, but definitely giving away something a little cool. And hopefully at some point, the ghost that is living within Google Slides will go away. He's competing with Alex, and Alex is our ghost and no others. All right. So Crawler began as my graduate school project back in 2019. So as far as background on me, my undergraduate is in English. I originally thought that I was gonna like go on and work in PR like Carrie Bradshaw. Realized that that type of game was just not for me. Decided to go back to school to get my master's in creative business design. Ultimately, what that was about was just finding ways that we could build a project that is specifically for the creative space in a creative industry, of which gaming is pretty adjacent to. So when I was working on it, I was thinking one day, like, what on earth, like, what is my final project going to be? Because we were ultimately tasked with coming up with an idea and proving that it could work. And the proving that it could work bit involved we had to build something and get people to test it. So I was actually having lunch with John, our graphic designer, who was new to the area at the time. We used to work together, and he was talking about how before he played Dungeons and Dragons, and he had a really great group, but since moving down here, he had no idea who to talk to or where to go, and it's not really something that comes up in casual conversations sometimes. So he was like, I don't really know how I'm going to find my group. I'm not sure where to go, and that just kind of got the toggles, wheels in my head spinning. Started thinking, okay, like what are some different ways that we can get people together? So ultimately, I saw there's this tweet that goes around every now and then that's just like, there needs to be a Tinder for D&D. And while we are not Tinder for D&D, as my like first Reddit post that came out, it inspired me to think, okay, like if I take that as a model, right? Like I'm in business school, if I take this like pre-existing model, it's like standing on the shoulders of giants in order to get something done. So that was where I came from with it. I needed 50 people to test my app. My app at the time, again, business student who really like didn't expect this to go beyond like just let me get my degree. I had like 40 people or so. I was like a couple weeks away from needing to turn in my project. I didn't have the testers I needed, so I made a Reddit account, and my first ever post on Reddit, I just went into r/D&D and was like, all right, I'm just going to do this. It ended up blowing up. We got the Reddit hug of death. I went from having, I think it was like 25 people signed up to we hit 10,000 in like 12 hours. And I was like shaking at that point because I was like, this is well above and beyond grad school project. I knew there was a need, obviously, but I didn't realize how desperate people were that they were even willing to see a grad school project and be like, yep, I'm going to try this because like I'm, tired of everything else. So it ended up evolving. I graduated, but it became this project that lived on. It became this volunteer project that was really done in like everyone's off hours. I still work full time at a day job, so Crawler is something that I do in the afternoons, evenings, lunch breaks, things of that nature. And that's really kind of the vibe that we have on the entire team. And thankfully, I got to this point where I had taken Crawler as far as I could with my technical know-how, which was really done through like YouTube tutorials and Googling things, trying to self-teach myself. But then I met Marissa, thankfully, at the end of 2020 of last year. I got a LinkedIn message offering to buy Crawler. And I was like, well, like I'm not quite ready to like walk away from this project. How would you feel about collaborating together? And she was like, well, perfect, because I've got tech know-how and you have like marketing business know-how. Together we could work out really well. So really grateful to bring Marissa onto the team. And with me rambling at you guys, I will pass the baton over to Marissa to chat a bit about her background and her philosophy.
Yes, thank you, Jackie. Yeah, so essentially how this came about, where I sort of went to Crawler several months ago. I was working at IBM for the last like 8 years. I got laid off. I had so much time, and I didn't even know what to do with it. I was in 2 regular D&D, and I wanted more. I wanted to play more. I didn't know how to go about doing that. Tried to go online, find forum posts and LFG channels and things like that. And I was just like, man, I wish there was like a dating app for finding D&D and other games. Maybe I can make one because I have some experience making mobile apps. And I was just like, let me start doing that. And so I started working on a little bit, and then I started looking into what existed in this space, and I found Crawler, and I saw the logo and the name, and I was like, better than that. So let me reach out and see what I can do. So, because this is just an awesome logo, an awesome name, and just a really cool idea. So I reached out to Jackie, and sort of the rest was history in that way. But yeah, so I came on and I sort of had a different take on how we can shift or steer the ship in that way. And we'll get into that a little bit. But essentially, my motto is sort of like build a foundation brick by brick, and sort of like focus on the now and then move forward. Don't worry about everything so much in the future, as much as my anxiety would have you believe. But yeah, so I think we can go into a little bit of the, let me just get it, how we envision how all of the stuff that we're going to have will function, I guess. So in theory, the mobile app is number one priority. Everything will sort of focus around that. Everything else is complementary, supplementary, however way we can support the mobile app, because we know from, users generally want the mobile app to go well. So the mobile app will be number one. The website will probably have a lot of informational and basic login sign-up functionality. In the future, that may change, but for now, that is what its purpose is. The Discord will be a lot of feedback between the team. That's primarily how we talk to everybody. It'll be for feedback, suggestions, general content, and then just sort of communication with us. And then email, general support, tickets, things like that. Any communication is that. We just happen to be on Discord more. And for social media, just general relevant posts and more feedback and support. We want to listen to what everybody has to say.
And my note here, why I also wanted to put this in here for you guys, is previously when we look at the first version of Crawler, it was all done through a website interface. At the time, that was the limits of my expertise as far as like mobile app building, using all those different backend things. That's why we have Josh on board, and having Ben on board, Marissa, that stuff was out of my wheelhouse. So we focused in a lot on the website, which this is a good segue here. You guys can see if anyone remembers the awful like visuals here, because again, I just wanted a grade. I wanted to graduate, see what would happen. I really didn't think that this would blow up, but originally the website was like the go-to. And when I was talking with everybody and getting feedback, all of you guys wanted a mobile application. Like, people be like, yeah, like, it's great that I can make a profile and search, but it'd be so much better if I could just open this up on my phone and like have it there. Like, just the way that we're used to connecting with one another, and kind of the when you look at specifically the piece that this is meant to serve, this was what people wanted. They wanted an app. So when I talked with Marissa and we looked at, our current limited team, and then also just looking at what you see across the board in, competitor products, and even people who are, in a different vertical, like in the dating space realm, this is typically how they structure it, where the website's more informational, sign up, log in, but the heart of everything lives within the mobile application. So that is something that we will be going to. That's why if you go to crawler.app right now, it is, a very slim version of, you can sign up, have your early adopter, and then everything else that you guys are going to get access to will be through our mobile app. And to go through again with these lovely screenshots, everybody came back and was like, look, girl, yellow and white, not good. Not good without a stroke. I was like, I know I went to SCAD for yellow, yellow and black. I used my school colors. It wasn't the move. Thankfully, I met this great guy, Ben, who offered his services as our UX and UI designer. Does a much better job. So I'm going to pass it off to him to chat about himself and walk you guys through some of the screens of the mobile app that are coming together so that you guys can see what it'll look like. And spoiler alert, it looks way better than what you just saw. So really happy about that.
Hello. So yeah, and my name's Ben. I've been designing digital experiences for a little over a year now. I actually found Crawler because I was looking for a good solution to Dungeons and Dragons sort of LFG, like how do I find people to play with? And there wasn't anything super great that existed already, but I found Crawler. I think it was the Reddit post that I ended up finding through a Google search. So I just wanted to see if I could be a part of what they're doing. I just reached out to Jackie, and she just like welcomed me to the team, and it was super kismet. So let's take a look at some of the screens that we have going now. The screens we're going to show are a splash screen, which is sort of what you see right when you open the app, as well as the sort of very high level onboarding that gives you a brief sort of description of what the app can do. So these designs I came up with, they're all about building like a comfortable space for gamers that can quickly and securely connect with other tabletop enthusiasts. And one of my highest priorities is accessibility. You know, can everyone use this app? Can everyone read this text, see these colors, that sort of thing? So that's always something that's at the very forefront of my mind and Marissa's mind as she works with me between design and development. And we really just want to create a space for like absolutely everyone to be included in this app. We don't want to build any sort of like gatekeeping or inaccessible designs. So that's my goal with these.
As a note, I cried when I saw these for the first time. Like legit tears.
It's
I
too
was
much.
Yeah.
like seeing it come to life. I really, and there's another screen later that you guys will see that made me cry even more. But yeah, these made me cry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely. Yeah, my mock-ups for how I envision how things work functionally to Ben, totally different things. Very, very amazing to see what Ben has done. But yeah, so I think we will head over to the next. So essentially, just as a like sort of like a precursor to the next slide, I tend to use the words game session instead of game, sometimes just to avoid confusing. So basically, a game session is campaign, one-shot, multi-shot, adventure, the things that we want to join and play. We tend to call it a game session just, you know, to differentiate from the game that you're playing a la Dungeons and Dragons or, you know, other game systems. Game listing in this case just means the visual representation of the game in the app. Sometimes we might say both for each other, but generally game session, game listing tend to mean the same thing. But yeah, and then we will move on to the next. And essentially, this is the, I don't know, core part of the app. It is the three tenets or foundational pieces of it. Create, search, connect. Those are the things that we want to enable users to do. And to go into it a little bit, and of course, you guys can see a little bit of the screen now and the wonderful designs by Ben. So essentially, I just want to go through those three core pieces and then a little bit more of the other pieces that you can hint towards. So essentially, create is all about anybody who wants to create an adventure, to create a game session with following information, you know, game system, game setting, all of that good stuff. Anybody should be able to create a game session. We want to encourage everybody to become a GM, even if it's just for the first time or you're seasoned pro. We want to enable that because this is what makes the world go round. I don't know. But, you know, everybody kind of wants to play. And in order to play, you have to have someone run it for the most part. And then we can sort of get into the next tenet, which is search. So in this case, search, sort, filter is sort of the way that I think about it. Basically, how do I narrow down my options of the game listings? And that will be in terms of actual text search. You'll see at the top, but then also there'll be another screen that you can pop open that will have tags, game system, game setting, lots of options that you can go through. We'll probably release the full list of all of that a little bit later on. I would like to mention that in this case, I think if you can tell, some of the game listings have tags along the bottom, and one of them does not. So the premium content will be some of those for GM side to be able to tag their adventures, and for the player side to be able to search by those tags. And then there will be other things as we go on that will be introduced in terms of that tagging, searching, sorting component. And then not displayed here, but eventually, you'll see screens that you'll be able to click into these game listings, and then you'll see more information, overview, description, things like that. And you'll be able to apply to join the game session. And then from there will be a notification system where the GM gets notified that a player has joined, go through, and then a player will get notified that they've been approved to join the game session. And once all the party members are gathered, you will have a way to communicate with each other. And then we know that, most people tend to use other communication methods such as Discord and Skype, Zoom, whatever may be the case. You can then communicate enough to move on to those platforms. But yeah, so this is a little bit of a sneak peek of like what the core part of the app is. And a lot of this stuff is powered by some stuff you can't see, which is a lot of the backend stuff that Josh is really the engineer behind. So yeah, take it away, Josh.
Hi, I'm Josh. I'm the backend developer, as mentioned earlier. So I've been doing software design and software development for a good 8 years now. I'm focusing a lot more on the back end, so the system architecture, and the database stuff. So you won't see, none of my stuff looks as flashy and cool as Ben and Marissa's does, but I'm definitely there trying to keep all the cogs turning.
And we do have to settle a question because I just saw it come through. Is this Josh's like joke is that he says he's not a bear, which is like exactly what a bear would say. So like jury's still out there. But this little doodle here, is this a barbarian, like barian, or is it a bearbarian? Very important question. That was, leave your answers in the chat. I'm team barbarian, but I get outvoted each time. So
Yeah, we're just unbearable with this.
Jackie, your vote doesn't count. Everyone knows
No.
that.
I guess you could say it's nepotism. I over the company. I guess I can't choose. But okay. So building off of that, when we looked in again at competitor services and what we see as some downfalls with them, and what are some different ways that we can kind of structure our search and our abilities here, to really solve some of the issues that we're seeing with some other products in the market. So what you see here, we have unlimited. These are things that you'll be able to do as many times as you want. There won't be any restraints on it whatsoever. Limited, this means that stuff that's going to start coming, you'll get some of it, but in order to like use a whole bunch of it, it'll be behind like a paywall. You guys will see in a moment here, I've got like an outline of what we're looking at for our subscription model. As far as like unlimited actions, for sure that you will be able to do, applying to different game sessions. That's something that we don't want to put a limit or a cap on, because let's say you apply to a game session and then that DM like ghosts you, or the game like doesn't get enough players to be able to start. We don't, if we limited how many games that you could apply to join, and like, for reasons outside of your control, they didn't come to fruition, like that would really suck, right? Like to try to get in and then you're not able to because, other players flake out or a GM flakes out. So you'll be able to apply it to as many game sessions as you would like. You'll also be able to search for as many game sessions as you would like. We don't want to put a limit on that because, I know personally what I'm into changes from day to day. So that's something, again, that we feel we don't want to limit you on, because then if you see limited results in it, it might not feel like as fair. So those are things you'll be able to do as many times as you want. No restrictions coming into play there. Limited, we're going to limit the number of game sessions that you're able to post and keep active. This is specifically so that we're not having one person who comes in. We've seen it on competitor services. A couple of GMs will come in and they'll post like 20 different games. They have no intention of running all those games. They're basically just casting a wide net. and waiting and seeing like who bites. And for those who like apply into the games that don't end up running, it's kind of like, well, shoot, like I wanted to do this, but he posted like 15 other games. One of them was more popular. I wasted my time waiting around for this to go and it didn't happen. So there will be a limit to the number of game sessions that one person can have active. Lifetime wise, you'll be able to post as many, sessions throughout the age of your account as you would like, but as far as what you currently have active and accepting applications, we are planning to put a limit around that. I say all this again through the subject to change. If we get like feedback from like our alpha testers or beta testers, or even once it's live to the public and people are not vibing with it, it's really, putting limits on them. We'll definitely reapproach it, but right now, if the ghosts could chill with the Google slides, that'd be awesome. But for right now, what we're seeing from people, this makes sense from that point. We also will have the option to boost game sessions. That will come in. We have one tier subscription model that'll include a couple of boosts that you're able to use. Everything else is going to be like an a la carte, pay to boost it, have it live for a couple days. That way you're floating up similar to a boost if you've done that on any other type of website where your result is popping up higher in the search results. Again, we want to limit this because if there's boosts running wild everywhere, then it kind of defeats the purpose. All right. So subscription model here. A lot of words on this slide. Again, once we get through with the alpha testing, this is based off of some of the exit surveys that I did like a year and a half ago, looking through when people were testing out the app. You guys might remember I sent out a survey that was kind of asking people, based on this level that you're able to do, what do you feel would be a fair price point, et cetera, et cetera. So what we have here, we're planning at launch to have these 4 different tiers, I suppose, that you could go into. There will always be an always free model where, yep, you'll have ads on there like you can expect with really any app that you're going to download from an app store. It has ads in there. That's just part of us being able to pay for our server costs and pay for any development needs that come up. You'll be able to do basic search functionality, which was what Marissa was walking you guys through earlier. And you'll be able to have one active game listing that is open for people to come and apply to. Again, as an always free, that doesn't mean you can only make one game for the entire time you're on Crawler. It just means that at any one time you can just have one game that is currently up and accepting submissions. Next, Copper just throws in $1 a month. You get rid of your ads. This is where for any of our early adopters, you guys can come in and we are giving out Copper to you guys for free out the gate. So if you're currently signed up on crawler.app, make sure that you have gone in and made your account because you will automatically get that $1 a month credit and be put in at Copper. Silver and Gold are introducing some additional functionality. You're going to get the advanced search feature coming in here, which was what Marissa was talking on earlier with the different tagging and toggles and like art for your listing. And you'll also be able to do a few more active game listings. Again, we're not going nuts with the number of game listings to be had at this stage. Could change between now and then, but again, we're really wanting to make sure that anything that's being listed is actually something somebody wants to run and they're not just, throwing a bunch of stuff out there that they don't really have intention. They just want to get something. And then at gold level, you will also receive 3 boosts that you're able to use to boost your games. They're going to last for a couple of days. That number of days limit is TBD. For all the other levels, we do plan to have a la carte pricing for if you want to post another game listing. Like let's say it's 1 month where you don't really want to sign up for a year at silver because you're like, I only plan to have like these 2 games and then I might like fall out of it for a little bit. You could stay in at the always free or copper and then just buy a game listing for a set price, and then you're not having to lock yourself in for, a contract or anything like that through the App Store. Same with boosting. If you're at silver or copper or the always free, doesn't mean that you can't boost. It just means that you would have to like pick up a boost through our store, buy one of those and put them in, whereas gold, you're going to automatically have 3 of them that you're able to use there. Again, subject to change. We'll see what comes through, but right now this is what we were looking at as it feels how things are coming together like it would be fair. Still allows us a chance to, take care of server costs, save up the money that we need in order to make this even better. Because like I said, everybody on the team right now, no one's taking a paycheck. Just so you guys are aware, we're all donating our time. So that is where money does come into play to help us grow and expand through there. And it's kind of tiny, you probably can't see it on the stream very well, but since our early adopters are getting copper, that's free. That means that like $1 applies towards all the other ones. So if you look at silver, that means for early adopters it'd be $2 a month. For gold, for early adopters it would be $4 a month. So you get that $1 credit that is applied through. All right, and I have been talking so very much, but our launch timeline, we are still looking at May 2021 to go live in the App Store. We do have some steps between here and there. We've started with our alpha testing, but we have to obviously get through all of it. Then we also then expand out into beta testing, and really that's the stage if we get a lot of beta feedback that's just like, oh, like this isn't quite where we want it to be, or like we need to change this. In my heart, like it's better to like wait and push out a product that we're really, really proud of and that you think you guys will love a lot versus just being like, oh, well, May has arrived. It's time to just like push this out. So we've got to get through alpha, beta, and then we have to get approved by the App Store. Like I mentioned, we are brand new we have our like developer accounts all set up and approved, but getting your first app live, it's like, most other agencies, the first one, there's usually a little bit more scrutiny behind it to make sure that we're not, fake news or something like that. Oh man, that was like, I don't know if you guys just saw that, but that ghost like really just ripped through. All right. Let's see. I've been talking a ton. Alex, I don't know if you would like to chat about the raffle, if it helps out. If you wanna chat through it at all, our ghost.
One moment. I There we go. We're going to be doing a raffle. Hi, everybody. It's me, the ghost. You can't see me, but that's really a win for you right now. I look like a homeless man just wandered out of a wind tunnel. My hair is not dissimilar to Josh's coat. So we are going to be... I'm sorry, my brain is not firing in all cylinders today. There we go. We're going to be doing a giveaway. Everyone here that's in the... Oh my god. Oh, sorry.
If the ghost is hurting you, I can take it as well.
Yeah, if you don't mind, Jackie, I'm starting to actually lose it here.
I think the ghost that's like living in the Google Slides like kind of crawled out like Samara style and is like, I think, coming for you just a little bit. So be careful. But all right, so we're doing a raffle to raise some launch funds. We are also doing a giveaway on the stream. Ooh, that's coming up soon. But like I said, we want to prepare for unexpected costs, especially if our number of users skyrockets again. That's something I learned from the Reddit Hug of Death. Suddenly it like blew up and I like looked at my account and I was like, cool, I've got like $5. So I had to like up my servers and like it was this whole thing. So going into that, I'm preparing for it this time and I'm like, all right, we should really have some additional funds set aside in our bank account just in case anything comes up. What's something fun that we could do? I also would like to like buy the team a sandwich. Be pretty cool. Maybe some honey for Josh since he's a bear. But we're going to have 3 different tiers and they are all separate little raffles. So you can enter each raffle separately. The first one is going to be free entry. We're going to do it. The basket value is about $100, and they're all going to be filled with different tabletop role-playing goodies. I've been talking with a bunch of different small businesses who have reached out to us while we've been developing, who have just been super kind and supportive. So I went out and have purchased some of their products, and we're putting them together in these different raffle baskets for you guys to win. So the first one is going to be free entry. It's going to be using social media to kind of help us spread the word. So going in and liking and retweeting, things of that nature. And we'll select one person and send them their basket. We are opening it to international because we know we have a really big international community and supporters, so not limiting it. Depending on where it goes, like just as like a little bit of a spoiler, one of them is a really cool tabletop role-playing like spin on like coffee. And for example, that's like a food good, which some countries don't allow us, especially right now, to send that. So the basket might be subject to change depending on where the winner lives. But we're still opening up. You'll get some other different goodie that we are able to send to your country at that point. Then there will be tier 2. Will be a $5 entry. The basket is worth even more. Lots of other additional goodies packed into it. That's about $175 value on that one. And then tier 3 will be a $10 entry, and that basket value is about $275 worth of goods. After we were gonna show after this live stream, this weekend, you guys will get to see visuals and like types out of like what's going to be in those different baskets. I just got some photos today of something custom that we're getting made for the tier 3 that just looks absolutely incredible, and like I'm gonna purchase this one like just for me because I want it really badly. But really excited to share this with you guys. Like I said, all dollars that are from here are going into the team, into our team bank account. And since we are supporting small artists and small companies, I didn't ask them to donate anything because I know that it's a really tough time for all of them. So that was just pulled out of my personal purchase these from them. But anything coming from this, we're going to put aside for our development needs. All right. I know I talked like a crazy amount, so we'll take this time now to kind of glance through the questions that have come through.
Yeah, and I can take a good portion of.
Awesome.
All right. So we have a question. Do you want to
my
read them out,
participation-
Alex? Yeah, you read them out. I'll
Could be
answer.
reading them out.
Yeah, go,
all right.
go.
Off the cuff speaking, turns out I'm a dumpster fire right now. But let's talk about what you guys are asking. Golden Smearing was the first person in, and they want to know, what is Crawler's plan for dealing with paid GMs, especially DMs that do not advertise themselves as paid? They let you make a character, and then you play session, then they ask for payment.
Right. So I think we're going to handle this in the beginning, at least in a particular way, and maybe in the future we'll adapt if it's not working. But for now, we're going to have a tag that will say, free to play or paid service or something like that, and that'll be a notification to those that want to join that game session. That GM, the details of which the price that's on the GM and the players to handle in their communication method that they so choose. But we will have an indication of it being a free to play or a paid service.
And I think just to piggyback off of that, because I think in the question too, there's kind of this, because it sounds like, just from my POV reading over it, like if you play a session with somebody that you meet through Crawler who is advertising themselves and they have it listed as a free to play game, and you get through a session and then they're hitting you up for payment, that to me is like worth reporting, because that's being really shady in my opinion. Like that's really, if you're going into a paid game and you know it, great. If you're going into what's advertised as free and then they're trying to hit you up for payment afterwards, I'll take a look at our terms of service, but I would assume that somewhere at least within the like terms of use and kind of the like community interactions, it's really close to fraudulent behavior in my opinion, if not straight up fraud. So there will be like protections built in around that angle of if someone's telling you it's free and then like they're coming in and saying it's not, then for sure need to talk about it. Potentially look at if they break that rule enough times, getting them suspended. But yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Cool. All right. User the Flat Knife Gamers, or rather Flat Knife Gamers, asks, will there be a public rating on your account, such as Lyft, for good or problematic players, or will that be too subjective to implement?
Yeah. So again, that sort of bleeds in from the other question. Yeah, there'll be like a sort of reputation system enforced, the details of which we're still working out, but you will be able to report players, report sessions, and just make sure that there's some guidelines for that enforced. But yeah.
Yep.
Right. User the Pole Chef has two questions. I'm going to get to the second question first because I believe it to be significantly more important, and I can actually answer this one. Is Josh a bear? You will never know for sure. On to the second question. What kinds of search elements will people be able to use to search for lists and games?
Yeah, so all of the, and again, it was on the screenshot before, make sure that stuff is posted on the socials after this. Game system, game setting, game location, how you communicate, and I think I said all the basic sort of things, how many players there are, things like that, will be part of the default basic. And then a lot of the tags, such as genre and essentially extra information that's nice to know, but isn't critical to know will be in the sort of premium search and filter and things like that. But and I assume as we go, we'll advance those things if people are looking for stuff. But yeah, we think the basic stuff is sort of the critical information that you need to know to just get, and then the advanced search and stuff will be for people that are like more, I guess, heavy or specific use.
Great. Yeah, it's going to be comprehensive. They're putting a lot of work into it, guys. You should be very excited because I am vibrating right now with excitement. User Commander Tenna asks, or at least that's what I think CMDR is. I hope I'm not wrong. Will the app be able to support searching for tabletop games that aren't necessarily D&D and Pathfinder, like Numenera, for example?
Yeah, we're going to try and get as many game systems, game settings as we can. We may miss some. Like I can imagine there are some that I have no idea about. But yeah, like one of the things that I have always wanted to play, Star Trek Adventures. Definitely want to get anything that has like the general structure of game system, game setting that you play in this sort of way. We want to include. We'll have a like sort of like suggestion or like request for certain things if we miss them, and we'll get them in the database if we don't have. But yeah.
And thankfully, that's something from the previous iteration of Crawler. I've got like this gigantic spreadsheet. Yeah, a huge spreadsheet of it. I pulled a lot of it from like Board Game Geek and other resources, plus the feedback you guys came through. So yeah.
Awesome. Acumen asks, what about paid DM services?
So yeah, I think I answered this a little bit previously. Essentially, yeah, there'll be a notification that it paid, but the details of which can be handled by the group. We think that that's something sort of for groups to figure out. We don't want the whole of this system to be focused on paid. It's sort of like if that's what people want to do, for them to sort out. In the future, we may have some features that maybe enable that process a little bit better, but for now, we think that's the way to go. Okay.
Got it. The next question. Sorry. Yeah, we have a lot more things that we want to do with the app, and those are going to be rolling out as we grow. But in the basic app, that's not going to be a huge part of it. We'll just have the tags available. User the Pole Chef asks, "Oh, right, is Joshua Bear? We already did that. Again, you'll never know for sure." Golden Smearing again asks, what is the plan for differentiating between online and in-person games?
Yeah, so I don't think the screenshot was clear maybe before, but we do have a place for location. And essentially, so for the example, the first one, it has the city. It'll have the general city. And as you join and communicate and approve players, you'll get more details released as soon as you're ready to go play. For remote, it has the word remote or online. And then the communication and play methods available. So like, for example, if you're playing remote and you want to play communication-wise on Discord, but rolling and stuff like that, character sheets on Roll20, it'll have options for the GM to enter that in when they create a new session.
And from what I can see, we do have one last session that came in a little under the wire. One last question, rather, from Sentient Fedora. How will we be handling harassment, or how can they handle harassment and people trying to date via the app when it isn't welcome?
Yeah, I mean, we are going to do our best to make sure that sort of thing doesn't happen. So again, the reputation system one way. I think also one thing that I was super a proponent of, I don't want it to be necessarily a social app. I want people to get what they need to do to communicate and get all the information that they need. So we're going to have limited chat functionality for the party. Once everybody sort of joins up and they want to get more information and things like that, they'll be able to do so. I don't think there's going to be a one-on-one information necessarily, or it'll be very limited. This is not a chat app. It has a very specific focus. So we do have some ideas in mind for the reputation system and the communication stuff. We can always improve and make sure that things aren't getting abused in that way. But yeah, we do have plans for ways to handle that. So yeah.
And to build
And
off of
This
that,
is for any type of harassment, racial,
Yes.
sexual,
correct.
anything like that.
As
We're
a-
going to have a robust reporting system, but the chat is going to be off of Crawler.
That chat, like, that's something we're developing, and we'll see. Like, Marissa and I are still talking through that. Basically, we want Crawler to be a place where people are able to go find games and connect, and so that we're not getting into like timeline posting or things like that where people can start sniping on other people's profiles. But anyways, to all these like different things that have been brought up are all things that are against our terms of use that we've already written up. So
Correct.
if someone is trying to slide in your DMs and be like, hey, you're really cute, I would love to date you, like, nah, that's like not like that is sexual harassment. That's against our terms of use. Report them,
Yeah.
and we will take care of it. Same with like racial harassment. Anything that falls in under our terms of use is pretty robust in terms of like protecting our users and like the way that people talk to each other. So for sure, like we will have that reporting system where people are able to report it. Again, it depending on the severity of it or what comes through of it, they could be subject to a ban and not be able to use our services, because we definitely want to make sure that it's a safe and inclusive space for you guys.
Yep.
From a design standpoint, we don't like Marissa's been saying, we don't want this to be a very social app, but we understand that there needs to be some level of communication between players and DMs, trying to really minimize it. So there won't even be a very large opportunity to like send people messages or things like that. You're really just going to be applying for a game, minimal communication, and then you're going to move on to Discord or whatever communication tool that game session will be using.
I do qualify that with, like, let's say, if you do go off into Discord and it's in Discord that they like dig into you and are like going off on their like, racist, homophobic rants, that's still not somebody, like, if you met them through Crawler and you like started a campaign because you met them there, like, to me, like, that still we'll review it, but like that should be, we don't want that person to then be able to use Crawler to get into another campaign and break break it through there. So we're looking at the details through there, but at least from my POV and my legal understanding, that would still be something that we would be able to ban them from Crawler on, even if they didn't like send that like tirade at you there. If it's still because stemming from it, then it comes back, because we definitely want to make sure that we're not a hub for problematic users who just want to use it as a jumping off point to go and bother everybody.
Good point.
Yeah, we're trying to minimize awfulness as much as we can.
Yes, for sure.
All right, we got a couple more. I feel like these are really good questions. So Shadowstorm asks, how does communicating with the DM and players work? You guys have gone over it pretty much in detail right now, but will you be able to talk to the whole group on Crawler? The answer, from what I can tell, is in a limited way, yes, but if you want to get into what's called some really in-depth conversation and start getting into building the game, that's going to be something that you're going to take off of Crawler.
Yep, that answers.
And Acumen wants to know, and I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, what does this mean?
I know a little bit of it. Basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Acumen, favored foe is a skill that can be used that basically it makes it so you're able to select, I think it's racially based, and say, hey, I want to have like advantage or whatever against a certain race, and sometimes it can get abused and people will use it against like it'll be an intentional type of thing where it's kind of like wink wink nod nod. It's not always, but sometimes it gets abused by people that way. I believe that's what they're mentioning.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's gross.
Okay.
That's wow, that's monstrous. Okay.
They've tweaked that ability in Unearthed Arcana.
Like
I suggest you check out the tweak. The tweak is much more not as weird.
Yeah, I think again that would come into how it's being played out, and definitely if you're in a session again from somebody that like you met on Crawler and you start a game with them, and you can just tell that they're definitely like they're trying to be sly about it, but it's definitely like hurting other individuals, and you feel it, for, let's say it is like something that's racist, and you feel like if another person of color was to play with them that they would feel threatened, or if you yourself feel like, please report them and we will look into it. I think that'll definitely have to be like a very case by case as to how it's going through.
I just want to report that everyone in the chat seems really excited and happy, and that makes me excited and happy. Quimble says, so excited for this. Been hanging around since the website was being used. Can't wait to continue to support you guys.
Thanks.
Sweet. Well, I think.
And then Nimco says yikes.5.e, and I think we can agree that Ranger's favorite foe.
Yeah, he's
yeah,
definitely
we're
ready. Just use marked whatever. Like, just mark somebody in combat. How hard is that? Hunter's mark or whatever. But anyways, I know
everyone
we're.
else is jumping in to say they're excited. Sorry. Yay. Okay.
Awesome.
The ghost will fade back into the background.
You're all good. You're all good. Samara, Google Ghosty is still trying to do stuff on me, so I'm having a. I have my like mouse turned off, guys. I don't have anything here. My cat's not even in the room. There's not even a breeze, so I don't know what's going on. So
Oh,
apologies
you
for the
didn't
back and
know?
forth.
I definitely hacked into your computer and I have been coding
Please give
for this
it
to
back.
happen. It's a delayed April Fool's joke. Sorry about
Oh, okay. It's a Easter Fool's?
Yeah, whatever.
Almost Easter Fool's? Priester? I don't know. Anyways, okay, so yay. We've reached the live stream giveaway. Okay, so how this is gonna work is oh, I need to turn my mouse back on. Okay, so we are going to roll a D100. I'm sharing my screen, so you should be able to see the like D100 like roll through on the screen, so that we're all in it. Because I think a 100 works. But I feel like we've gotten probably about. Have we gotten more than 100? It's hard to say.
Say we're kind of getting close to there. If you guys would like to keep commenting, we'll probably get to 100 as fast as possible. Everyone share as many of your favorite emotes as you can. Just go crazy.
Give me some puns. I want some puns.
Oh, puns. Yes, puns. Never mind the emotes. I need puns.
Okay, yeah, we're
Wild
definitely
magic
over 100,
giveaways,
so I'll
great.
probably roll like a D300 or something wild. But anyways, if you are like anyone on the Crueler, anyone here on this stream, if you're like our personal friend or our family, you can't win. Even if it's by chance and through randomness, it just feels skeezy. We wanted to go to somebody who is, not tied to one of us. So let's see. We'll give it like I'm gonna set a timer for 60 seconds, and then we're gonna roll. And whoever wins, you'll see on the next slide what you win.
You will cry.
You win all my credit card debt. I'm kidding. Let's see. Or maybe I'll get it. I'll set it to 30 seconds. Otherwise, we'll just sit here in like silence and like kind of stare at each other strangely. All right, 10 seconds left for Shimmy Marie.
While we're waiting, Golden wants to know if we came to a consensus on Barbarian versus Barbarian.
Personally, I like Barbarian.
Barbarian.
Go all in.
Barbarian. I'm
It's
subtleness. Come on.
Bear.
Barbarian.
Well, it's the difference between a written joke and a verbal joke.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Because unless because I make puns really annoying sometimes, so I would go barbarian. Then it's okay. You know what I mean?
It depends on where you put the emphasis too.
Yeah.
I personally agree with Marissa. Barbarian is probably the best way to go about it. This is a very important topic, and I'm happy that we're talking about it now.
Yeah. One for
I
the
prefer
ages.
Barbarian, if
Yeah.
my vote counts at
That
all.
doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it counts like double.
It
doesn't matter what you prefer.
Yeah, you get 2 votes, and everyone else gets 1, and we outrank you, and
All right.
It
I
is
feel
now
like
Barbarian.
I don't think we went over 300. Where are we at? I think maybe I'll leave it at 300 and we'll see. And if we get a number that we haven't hit yet, then we can go from there. All right. And stop. Oh.
I think such. Hey!
10.
Wow.
And
Okay.
don't
Okay.
count,
I guess
Alex, if you look, don't count like you at all. So like
I will never count me.
well, I mean, like, if your comment's 1 and 3, then technically we've only had, like, 1 comment. It'll be the 10th
Right.
non-Crueler comment.
Yeah. Oh.
That would be
Hold on, wait.
Taz.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Double
Mary
check.
Taz. I skipped over the people you told me not to count because they're.
Yeah.
Hear that, versus friends? I'm not supposed to count you.
Sorry.
You
Sorry,
count in our
guys.
hearts, just not
Yeah.
not here. Too nepotism.
Yeah.
Oh, and Josh's friends.
Yeah.
Who won?
Mary Toss.
Mary Taz.
Yeah, I don't know Mary
I don't know
Taz.
who that is.
Don't
Yeah.
know it. Yay!
Congrats.
Not my friend.
You win because
Sorry.
we don't know you.
You win.
Yeah. And now we do.
Here. Is Mary? I'm not seeing them like commenting in the thing unless mine's like frozen.
Delayed.
She is not. Oh,
Mary
hey,
Toss-
Mary
There she
Taz.
is.
There you go.
Yay!
Hey,
Awesome.
Mary, are you in our Discord?
All right,
You
Mary.
are in our Discord. All right.
Okay,
You
awesome.
win.
Post in general and say I won, and we will reach out to you and show you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jackie.
There you go. So what you have won, Jason at Critical Dice is absolutely amazing. I listed his website and his handles. We've been working together like since like when Crawler first blew up. So he donated this really awesome gift here. That is his like Critical Dice gift. He also, if anyone's interested on the stream, he does do monthly subscription boxes, and there will be a little Crawler sticker included in his June box, I believe. So he's a really, really, really cool guy. Does some awesome work, and really happy that he donated this prize to us. So Mary Taz, we will be in touch. I will get your mailing address from you, and I will ship that out and head your way. Cool. All right. So before we wrap up the stream, thanks again, guys, so much for hanging out with us. I think pretty much everyone watching here probably is, but if you're not, we do recommend becoming an early adopter. You can sign up now, crawler.app. Touched on it earlier, but you're going to get that 1 year free ad-free app usage. That is quite a mouthful. We're going to give a little nifty badge identifying everybody as an early adopter that you can just keep forever and ever, a little razzle-dazzle, if you will. We're also going to be looking through, and we're doing our like early app testing with our beta testing, looking through our current pool of early adopters to pull some people from there. And more than anything, we will think that you guys are just the absolute bee's knees. So thank you guys so much for hopping on and hanging out with the ghosts and everything. As mentioned, we will be posting this live stream to, I believe we're going to put it on YouTube and then share that link elsewhere. It'll have closed captioning. That way everybody is able to have the full experience. But thank you guys so much for hopping in, and looking forward to it. And if any questions come up that you can't think of, feel free to join our Discord and drop them in there.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye all.
The ghost says farewell.